And that was it. A bit of water.
Transcribing will be tough.
I'll take half beat, you take the other half.
I got it covered.
Okay.
Mine will be in Italian.
I'll write it, Pete, I'll take Spanish if you'll pay me $200,000.
That's a little
A full
excessive.
Spanish
That's excessive.
transcription,
That's
just for you.
But yes, I will pay you $200,000.
I'll take it.
All right, we have Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. We'll start with Zach and then go to Matt Weaver.
I was actually going to ask this at the end, but I guess I'm going first. Fernando, it has been obviously it's been a long season, of course. I imagine it's been a crazy couple of weeks with the Big Ten Championship game, with the trip to New York. Like, how beneficial for you for this team is just going to be having maybe a little bit of time, not off here, but a little bit of time where things power down and everyone can just sort of decompress, basically, I guess, once you're done in this room.
I think it's great because our team has worked hard so hard throughout the season. We're 13-0, and I believe that we've earned these couple bye weeks here. Not only selfishly, I'm going to say it's great for myself just because we're able to let this, bad boy sink in, and my teammates who also went to New York kind of let all of us recover a little bit, so we don't have a game this upcoming Saturday. However, I think it's a great honor to have a bye week, and I think we still have great momentum going in to the college football playoff. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity to rest our bodies and stay sharp on our fundamentals.
We'll go second row on your right to Matt Weaver and then Sammy.
Fernando, kind of a two-part question. First off, during the ceremony, obviously you met former winners, a lot of, anybody there that you were really excited to meet or kind of left an impression? And then secondly, kind of what was the message from those former winners about what it means to represent that, not only on the field, but off the field?
Yeah, in my speech, I made sure to include that I promised to carry the Heisman name with responsibility, honor, and humility because I know how many people care about it and I know what it stands for a lot of people. And hearing the stories from those guys and seeing how much that fraternity and how prestigious it is and how much it means to them has only made myself honor it and mean more to myself. Those guys have said that every single year it goes on, the trophy means more and more to them. So I look forward to that experience, as it means a lot to me now. So I can only imagine how much it's going to mean, 10 years down the road. As those guys said, it's only exponentially gone up. And there's so many guys that have been fantastic meeting that weekend. There's so many, just like name a few: Tim Brown, Doug Flutie, Tim Tebow, Crouch, Ty Detmer, Eddie George, all those guys and more, Gino Torretta and Danny Warfel, Coach Spurrier, all those guys. And I'm missing so many, but all those guys were fantastic. And it gave me a lot of advice, gave me a lot of good advice. Those guys are legends of the game, and to be rubbing shoulders with them is an honor and doesn't feel real.
We'll stay on your right with Sammy and then go to Pete.
Fernando, the Heisman circus has kind of moved into the past for you now.
Yeah.
How do you turn the page mentally to look forward to the Rose Bowl? You do have 2 weeks to get ready for it, but like you said, you like to watch football and decompress that way. But how do you start getting ready a little bit earlier for the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, this weekend was a great weekend, great experience for my teammates and I. However, we understand that just like the Big Ten Championship game, just like any of the other big games we play this season, this page is now folded, although I will be in the fraternity for the rest of my life, which I'm extremely honored to be. Our focus right now is winning the college football playoff. That's what would make this trophy so much sweeter. And I believe this trophy is a little bit of push of confidence on us, on the team, that we're making history for the first IU team in history to be 13-0 and also to bring home a Heisman Trophy to Bloomington. So I think this is pushing us forward. And now our team understands, and even the lift this morning, we understand that we need to be humble and hungry. Hey, it's congrats, all this stuff. Hey, let's go. We did it. We got the trophy. Now it's on to the real trophy, or the season's trophy, which is the national championship.
We'll go Pete and then Don.
Yeah, Fernando, beyond the actual winning, what was the biggest highlight of this weekend?
The biggest highlight is to see other than winning was to see everybody that came out. I believe I had like 60 family members that came out, around 10 to 15 teammates that made the trip out on their own dime, and a lot of family and friends and community that supported me along the way. Not when I was, Heisman front runner, but when those guys and all those people have been, had my back when I was second string in middle school. So to see all of them and to see how much it meant to them, it was unreal.
We'll go far left to Don, and then we'll go to Daniel.
Fernando, was Archie Griffin at the Heisman presentation? And if he wasn't there, did he boycott it because Indiana beat Ohio State?
Archie Griffin was there, and he's one of the ones that I actually forgot to say. However, Archie met his wife, met his kids, his grandkids, and they were phenomenal. He's actually one of the Heisman winners I spent the most time with and talked the most with, and it was great seeing his old highlights up on the screen, talking to him about Ohio State, Indiana. And he was giving me a little bit of he was messing with me a little bit before I said that they're going to get us back in the national championship. But Archie Griffin, he's a class act guy. It was great meeting him this weekend. Got his contact info, so looking forward to keeping in touch with him.
All right, we'll go to Daniel, then Chris.
I think in the speech you had, you'd mentioned that the staff here has helped you kind of reach new levels that you weren't sure you had in you. What exactly have they shown to you or have they brought out of you kind of just that you weren't sure you had in you?
Yeah, I think that if we hook everybody up in this room on a lie detector test and tell them, hey, do you think Fernando Mendoza is going to win the Heisman this year and we're going to be 13-0 Big Ten champs? The team has a lot of self-belief and a little unwavering belief, but I think, it's tough to make those predictions. And to be quite honest, I don't, first of all, I don't even know if I'm deserving of this, and I would never expected this. However, the coaching staff, the way that I got there through spring and elevated myself all the way to this point as a player, it's two different Fernando Mendozas. It is two different players. You can ask any coach or player on staff, even some of the players this morning were like, bro, when we saw you at spring, there's no way we ever thought this was possible. And I think it's just a testament to the great team that I have around myself and the great coaches.
All right, Chris on the right, and then Jim.
Fernando, Chris Hagan, Fox, Indianapolis. Part of your great success has been the preparation, execution on game day. And then you go back and you watch the film and you hear what people think. Could see your preparation into the speech. You had the great execution. Have you watched the game tape of that, or what have you heard about how you performed?
Yeah, preparation is a huge thing for myself. And I believe preparation is what leads to confidence. When you're prepared in the opportunity, that means you have confidence going in. And that's something that Tim Tebow, some advice that he gave myself was not to live in the past or to live, walk on the eggshells per se, but live and make decisions that you won't regret. Meaning, hey, I'm going to stay up and play some video games instead of watching some more film. And that's a process that I've taken this season, whether it's Ohio State. That week I was going to, whether win, lose, or draw, I was going to lay my pillow on the head saying I did everything possible I could have done to put my best foot forward. And so that's, some great advice by Mr. Tebow and advice that I'll carry for the rest of my life. The speech, I think it was my duty as a finalist to practice and rehearse the speech. And at that point, I think, I rehearsed it and it sounded a lot better in the mirror. And then I got up there. I'm like, wow, I'm really nervous right now. And so I started stuttering a little bit. But I thought, I've heard positive feedback from the speech. I think it was great. I think it was great to, show everybody that's helped myself throughout my journey. I think it was incredibly special, this speech, to, shout out everywhere I've been before. And then also I think the highlight of the speech and something that's resonated with myself is back when I was in high school, Devontae Smith gave a speech at the Heisman, and he essentially said something similar to what I said at the end, and I took it from him, basically saying if you're too small, too raw, too anything, don't let anybody knock you down. You could do it. And at that point, I was a two-star recruit, committed to Yale. And so I took that, and I thought it was my duty to push that message to the next generation, the next Heisman winner that's going to be a low recruit and make the underdog story. And I'm sure that, Mr. Smith got it from someone before him. So I was like, all right, it's my duty to pass the torch to whoever's next. Hopefully to reach somebody like that.
Front to Jim, and then Ella.
Glass actually thought of this question. With all the recovery that you've had to do from the games and whatnot, what's tougher, recovering from, say, the Big Ten championship or a night in Times Square with your offensive line?
That is a great question. However, I will say the linemen and there's defensive players there, offensive skill players, there was a lot of people there. they're both recoveries for sure. However, we know how to handle ourselves at class. You never get obliterant. We always have a good time, and we stay within we can always control ourselves. And then that's one thing with us is it's always a good time because we control stuff, and we don't need all that extracurricular stuff, if you get what I'm alluding to have a ton of fun. We all just have a lot of fun with each other. So it's more about feeding off of each other and having a good time. However, I will say the recovery from the weekend of the sleep has been a little tough because it was bang, 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 bang. And I was so overwhelmed by emotion the entire week, meeting all the winners, having an opportunity on the media to shout out my teammates, and then ended up winning the award. It was a little bit of a mental recovery. Now, believe I'm in a good state right now where I'm humble and I'm hungry right now for the college football playoff.
Great. You go second row right to Ellen, and we'll wrap up with Lou.
Hi. So you mentioned a little bit your speech, and in your speech, you directly addressed your grandparents in Spanish. Why was it important that you did that and you spoke to them in Spanish in that moment?
Yeah, so my heritage is Cuban American. I was born in America. However, all four of my grandparents, born and raised in Cuba, they lived there, and then they immigrated to the United States. I essentially made the American dream, sacrificed so much to support my parents, and then for them, my parents to support myself. And learning about the heritage, actually them taking myself, my brother, back to Cuba when we were in high school to see where we came from. I saw how much it meant to them. And I believe that's where a lot of the pride comes from the family. And you see Diego's family, he had 100 people there too. It's the Hispanic culture, the Hispanic family is so prideful and supportive of one another. I thought that, saying something in Spanish, although I wouldn't say I'm the most fluent, I like to think I'm conversational in Spanish, would mean a lot to them to show, hey, this is how much of an impact it's had on myself. And then also for the Hispanic community out there, because I know there's a lot of Hispanic football fans, and it's something I'm looking forward to represent.
Great. Last one on your left to Lou.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And can you expand a little bit about what being in the Times Square situation was like? We saw a snippet on television or YouTube or whatever, and it looked like you guys it was kind of wild. A lot of people there. I mean, do they have heavy security around you and things like that?
Yeah, luckily I had the offensive line at security. We were going to Times Square, and it was, I don't even know if anyone would have noticed that, to be honest, until everybody and the teammates are screaming, chanting, the Hoosier chant, and everyone was, they're screaming Heisman Mendoza and a couple other chants were Hoosiers on top, and just that's random things we're shouting and screaming, and plus, photography. I believe everyone turned towards us, and our linemen were literally pushing people out of the way, hey, we gotta go. And this thing's really heavy, so we're passing it off to each other. Ada Fisher's carrying it, Charlie Becker, Ryan Olkowski, Carter Smith is carrying it. Bray Lynch is, everyone's carrying it. Everyone's because we're basically handing it off to each other. Switching security guard. At one point, we're all trying to get people out of the way. We're able to take pictures in Times Square, and I think it was a great time to be in the Big Apple. Such a great experience for us to be in the Big Apple, and it's an experience I believe all of us will remember for the rest of our lives. Being in the Big Apple, having a good time with each other, magical weekend, a good weekend to take time to really hang out with each other and have that good connection. And then now we understand, hey, okay, we were recovering from this weekend, and now it's time to work.
And your lineman was still blocking.
Always blocking for me, yeah. So they're fantastic, and can't thank them enough for getting the Elmos and Supermans and all the random people or all the random mascots in Times Square out of the way.
Awesome. Thanks, Fernando. Thanks,
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. God bless.
Did you smile for a second, brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here we'll push you up. Yeah, everybody just hold on. We'll let everybody come down.
Yeah.
Everybody ready? All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be Tim. I'm not going to tell you to look left and look right. Just go ahead and look straight ahead. Tim has it down.
I don't think so. You need to say.
Yep. Hold there for a second. Danny, are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody on the right good? Left good? All right. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.